Well, hey, everybody. This is Joel and, well, no one, just me, from Moving to Mexico. Bienvenidos a nuestro canal. Bienvenidos a our live stream. I don't know, Paul might be there. He may join us live. He is on a much and well-deserved vacation back in California. He took his daughter for the very first time to visit the homeland, and that's where Paul's mom and dad and his sister live, and I believe they're in Salinas right now. And Paul, if you're out there, just give us a little hola on the live chat. So anyways, bienvenidos everybody, welcome. We are going to do just try something different again, because I've got some holidays coming up. We leave on the 9th of September for Colorado, and we will be gone for just over 2 weeks. So I think Paul and I are going to try to do some pre-shooting of some videos, and then probably also try to knock out a few live ones like this, and we'll just see how it goes. It is a little bit different because we have to just kind of do it live, as opposed to, well, normally we don't do a lot of editing, but every now and then we could take a second take, or if we don't like something that we said or didn't quite fit the video, we can easily edit it. But here I cannot, so I gotta watch everything I say. Hey, NJ. So I do have someone here with me. There's NJ. Say hello to everybody, NJ.
Hello.
Hola.
Hola.
Hola. But NJ is my son. He is here visiting from Calgary, Canada. So he's got a bunch of buddies, and they are arriving tomorrow. Is that right, NJ?
Correct.
That is correct, Amundo. And so you guys are going to be like lighting it up here in Boosterias. So I see that my wife did some shopping, bought them chips, a 24 beer, some pops. And yeah, we're ready to host NJ's fine friends. Oh, I'm just going to turn my WhatsApp off here so that doesn't keep going off. That's annoying. So I thought what we do today is, for those of you who didn't see our video on tequila, watch the video on tequila. And if you're just even a basic member, and here's a reason to pick up that membership today, you can go to our YouTube page, and there's a button that says join. And on that join button, you can actually subscribe to a membership program. And it starts at like 29 pesos a month, so that's just under $1.50. But there are some special videos that we put out in advance for our members, and we did a video of the entire tequila tour that we had done with Paul and Daniela and Jillian, and I thought it was kind of cool because you can learn quite a bit. So what I thought I'd do today is give you kind of a basic overview of the various kinds of tequila, the number of states where agave can be grown and be called tequila. So similar to, you have regions in France, for example. If you buy a Bordeaux wine, there's several different grape varieties that can go into a Bordeaux. But for it to be called a Bordeaux, it has to come from the region of Bordeaux. Once upon a time, for tequila to be tequila, it had to be 100% blue agave. So that is the one thing that has not changed. It has to be 100% agave azul. And agave azul is basically blue agave. But now it is, they have increased the number of states where tequila, or where agave can be grown to make bona fide tequila. So the first state is in Jalisco, and that's where tequila is located and where it originated. And then we have Nayarit, which is where I am from. Oh, something's happened to my screen here. Oh, 1 second, guys. It just had something pop up that I got to try to hide, and I did. So sorry, that kind of like took me off my points. But anyway, so Jalisco is where tequila is located. So that was the very first state. And then we have Michoacán, and then Guanajuato, Nayarit, and Tamaulipas. And the one thing, again, that has not changed is it has to be 100% blue agave. And so does anyone out there have any ideas of how many different types of tequila there are? And not brands, but I'll start you off with one. So there's tequila blanco. And there goes the construction workers outside my door. NJ, can you just tell them that they have to just go like this? Just walk out and do that, okay? Ahora mismo, por favor. Hey everybody, yeah, we have our house under construction, so I thought the noise was done for the day, but someone started drilling literally outside my door. So I'm gonna send NJ out there to give them the, let's cut that off. Yeah, so you have your Reposado, and I've got a couple bottles here. So let me bring those out. So here's like an example of a Blanco, and the Tequila Blanco is not aged at all. It is literally distilled, and it comes out in a Blanco format, basically with zero color. It's just the alcohol. And this is I guess the most pure tequila that you can, one sec guys, I'll be right back. Wow, when it rains, it pours, literally. I just have to get the drilling to stop, otherwise it's gonna completely interrupt our program. And so anyways, the next one is a Reposado, and a Reposado is a tequila that's aged in oak, and that can be basically between 2 months and 1 year. I don't have any examples of it, but the next one is gonna be your Añejo, which is aged the same way this one would be, but instead of only up to a year, it could be aged between just over a year and up to 2 years. So most of them are going to be closer to 2 years. And then the extra añejos are going to be aged from 2 years and up. And some I've even seen aged as much as 7 years. So think of it as kind of more like your fine whiskeys. And the other one that I wanted to I was about to put it away, but they have these Reposado Cristalinos, and the Cristalino is an aged tequila, but you can see that it is Blanco. Okay, so the way that they do this is after they distill it and age it, they filter it through basically like a charcoal until they filter out all the aged color, and then you get this nice white Blanco color, but it's going to have the taste of an aged tequila. So on that note, I think since I've got some tequila out, are y'all ready for a little margarita maybe? It is, okay, what's everyone drinking out there? Oh, did I doink? Any doinks? Anyone? Does anyone have a beer? Does anyone have a margarita? Anyone drinking a tequila? So sorry, someone says you can't really hear it on the video. No, that was from BC Bustrias. Does that mean the drilling? Oh, Steve Bye's drinking a beer. Anyway, so I'm going to show you guys how to make a classic Tommy's margarita. First and foremost, you need to have a shaker. And I've already preloaded this baby with some ice. Next is very important is you want to have your limes. So I have, and you can see that these aren't the little key limes. These are like the larger, kind of medium-sized limes. And the reason you want to use these, well, number one, they're a little bit bigger, so they're easier to get more juice out of. And number two, they're a little bit more sweet and less tart. So it's going to make a nicer drink without having that extra bitterness in it. So quite simply, you're going to get your shaker, and Jillian, you are watching. Do you want to send? Can you bring on down a thing of agave for me? That was the one thing that I forgot for for my mix. If you can scoot that down to the casita for me, I'd really, really appreciate it. So anyways, the Tommy's Margarita is very simple. And I should have pre-cracked this, this Blanco. I like Blanco in my margaritas. You could use a Reposado. I wouldn't do anything more than a Reposado in my tequila, because if you're gonna spend the money on an aged tequila, you don't want to be like diluting it with any additional flavors to making it like making a cocktail out of it, unless it's something very, very, very special. But that's just, to each their own. I think Blanco is fine, and it's going to be the least expensive. So I know that in this drink, you're going to do 2 ounces. Okay, so I got my little shot glass here, which these are kind of cool. So if you come to Mexico, you can buy these at pretty well any of the little tienditas. They can sell them to you, and they're pretty inexpensive. A nice, easy keepsake to take home. So I go 2 ounces of Blanco tequila, 1 ounce of lime juice. And I know that basically these limes, if you do 2 halves, you're going to get 1 ounce, might be slightly more. So that little extra is not going to make that much of a difference in the drink. So I'll put all that into my shaker. And I would add right now, I don't know if Jillian must have dropped off, but I would add 1 ounce of agave, organic agave syrup. And sometimes I'll put just a little bit less. And again, depends on how sweet or less sweet that you want it. And the other thing you can do is not put any agave syrup in it whatsoever, and you're just going to do your margarita straight up. I would put a little bit in. I don't have it on me right now, so let's pretend that I did. You give it a little shake. And then you're going to pour it in your glass. And look at that. How perfect is that? So with that little 1 ounce, or little, I put in just a little less than 1 ounce of agave syrup, that would have been just right to the rim, perfect. Other options is you could rim with salt. I sometimes like, depending if I'm in the mood, I'll just put a little pinch of salt, sea salt, into the mixture, and I'll just shake it up just like that. So on that note, salud everybody. That is an easy way to make a classic margarita for your friends or your family or for yourself, and it looks good. And it tastes excellent. All right, just put this bottle away. So I'm going to turn things over to all of you. What's on your mind? I wanted to talk a little bit today about setting up a business in Mexico. I've been seeing that question come more and more often now. And does anyone have any specific questions around that? I'll kind of like put that out there and give about a 10 seconds or so of comfortable or uncomfortable silence as I take a sip of my drink. And then if I don't see any specific questions, I'll kind of go into some of the high level information on starting a business as a foreigner here in Mexico. So how did we fare with Hurricane Nora? It was weird. We saw the news. We saw it kind of heading towards us. We had this wicked wind that just really, picked up and was all over kind of our area where we are in Bucerías. And then it just became eerily quiet. So I don't know if we were kind of in the eye of the thing for a while, where there was, the birds came back out, they were chirping, it was almost bright again, and there was no wind. And about 5 minutes later, that changed, but it seemed like the storm was heading back out towards the ocean. So we really didn't fare unwell here in Bucerias. A few knocked down trees, some debris on some of the roads, and that was about it. Vallarta, on the other hand, had a little bit of a rough time where the Rio Quale was just completely overloaded with water and rain. And there were some questionable real estate projects that were being built along the Rio Quale, and one of them completely, it just got washed away. So number one, it should have never been built there, and it was new construction, but is no longer there. Some existing buildings that were built close by were also partially destroyed. One young boy lost his life in that building, so that was very, very sad. But these things will happen, in an area like Vallarta or anywhere this close to the water or the ocean. We are susceptible to that, right? But thanks God that it was pretty unabrasive, and there was some destruction, but the toll could have been a lot worse, and we're glad that it wasn't. Okay, I'm a graphic designer. Is there a need for my skills? Can I hang a shingle out? So essentially, if you want to open a legit, there's a couple different ways you can do it. Okay, so if you're someone traveling here and you're a digital nomad and you're already under contract with a business in Canada or the States, you're already getting paid from that business. You're probably going to keep your tax residency in whatever country you came from, so you'll continue to pay your taxes there on that income that you're earning. Now, if you want to go full Mexican, you become a temporary resident like we did. So you start off with 1 to 4 years of temporary residency. I suggest to people, like, if you think it's going to be more than a year, just go for the 4. Because then you only have to do the process once. And then once you get your temporary residency, you can apply for what's called a permission to work. And once you apply for that permission to work, you lay out exactly what it is that your business is going to be. And then, you are legal once that is approved to advertise it, hang a sign on your place of business. You would get a business license just like you would anywhere else. So, for our little business, BC Bucerias, we started with like 4 bikes. We did some rentals and some tours. Now we've since grown to, I think at last count, something like 65, 70 bikes, in our fleet. And, we have a brick and mortar location. We pay our licensing fee every year. And I'm basically have a forever permission to work. And that business is official. So they've given me permission to do it. I have a tax number, and I do my taxes every 2 months, pay my taxes, and that's about it. So pretty simple in that regard. I'm just going to go through some of the past questions. Okay, let's see here. So is there any advantages to holding your properties in a business versus personal while being an expat? It really depends on the type of business you're going to be getting into. If you're buying a home here, and you're going to be living in it, and maybe you add a couple rental units, I wouldn't bother creating a Mexican corporation to hold that real estate. If you're going to get very active and be accumulating more than 2 properties and doing developments or increasing your portfolio over time, then I definitely suggest starting a Mexican corporation, i.e. a holding company. You become the shareholder of it, and you're allowed to, buy any type of property just like a Mexican would. It gives you that same beneficial right. As a foreigner, if you don't have a Mexican corporation, you own it through a bank trust, and I'll be doing another video on that with a little bit more detail on how the bank trusts work, but it's really, really straightforward. Essentially, we have a deed just like you would have a deed in the United States. The only difference is there's an administrator on our deed that we pay $500 a year to, and that's really all the rights they have, is to administer your deed on your behalf. But they cannot sell your property, they cannot enter your property, they cannot do anything with your property other than, for lack of a better word, milk you for a few dollars every year. It's an antiquated law. It was originally put into place to kind of protect the borders and the seaways. They've been trying to get rid of it for years, but there's such an industry around it, it's not going anywhere. Like, lawyers make money on it, realtors make money on it, banks make money on it. Too many people are making money on the system, and I doubt they're going to get rid of it. Okay. There are labor laws, but when it comes to opening a business in Mexico, it's really, really lax. You can pretty well open whatever business you want, and it's going to get approved. I haven't heard of anyone who's not been able to get a permission to work owning their own business. That's pretty well a no-brainer. If you are getting sponsored by a business, there's a little bit more work that goes into it, but pretty well, if there's a will, there's a way in Mexico. You can cut through the bureaucracy if you're willing to, kind of pay the fee to do that. So it's pretty well an easy process to do. You just have to be set up with the right people to help you do it. So Dave Sinclair, I'm a wealth manager in Canada and plan to work in booster use in the future. Have you met any investment advisors who are licensed in Mexico and handle investments for Mexican citizens? Personally, I haven't. In my bike business, I have met with some hiring clients that I've done tours with, from like BlackRock and other big investment banks that handle like really, really high net worth Mexicans. Like, you're talking, minimum net worth of $1 billion. But I have only heard of people here who still have not completely, cut their ties to their financial planners in the States or Canada. And I haven't yet spoken to, let's call it a upper middle class Mexican, to find out, what they have been doing. And maybe that's actually a good thing for us to investigate and put into a future video. So Kevin says, does owning your business exempt you from these protective laws in certain professional professions? I don't know what you mean by that, so maybe you can elaborate with another question. Just give me a little bit more detail what you're trying to get to at there. Okay. And Candy says, at this point, I want to sell everything and sell beer on the beach. Not a bad idea. My daughter has a beach chair and umbrella business that does quite well. I think it could be worked a little better. There's definitely some opportunities, I think, for like higher end experiences on the beach where, if you were interested in helping people set up anything from, a small covered palapa tent area to something, more intricate, like a big tent with like kind of like wicker furniture and like a throw down mat, all that stuff. So they almost have like a cabana for the day. I definitely think there is a business that can be made doing something like that. Selling beer on the beach, you can't, you need to be licensed. But, deliveries as part of a secondary business, where you're delivering food, a beach, a cooler full of stuff, can easily be done. You just can't, you wouldn't be able to have a business here where you're walking down the beach selling alcohol. Someone just asked about our bikes. We sell used bikes, actually. We are primarily a tour business. So when we finish our fleet, meaning after 2 years or so, we usually put the older fleet up for sale, and then we buy newer bikes. But we're not in the business of selling new. So we do have usually every year we have some good deals of our retired fleet. All right, so I kind of went through the questions. If I missed anyone, I apologize, but can I please ask you a favor? If I missed your question, and even if I didn't, if you could take your question right now, if you're on YouTube, and copy and paste it onto the actual video comments, because for whatever reason, YouTube doesn't take these live chat comments on this software that we're using and put it into the comments. So if I want to go back and answer your questions with a little more information, I can't do it. So any questions that you're asking today, please just copy and paste that onto the YouTube comments and not the live chat. If you're on Facebook, you don't have to do that. Facebook, for whatever reason, is completely integrated. So if you're chatting on the live chat on Facebook, it keeps your comments on that post and allows me to respond to them. Bikepacking tours, yeah. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of room if someone was interested in doing a business like that. If someone's interested in tagging on to the BC Bucerias and doing a BC Bucerias in Tequila, or a BC Bucerias in Mazatlan, or a BC Bucerias in Manzanillo, or a BC Bucerias in Sayulita or Punta Lamita. Essentially, if you were to come open a BC Bucerias in any one of these beach towns, within the next couple of years, you're going to be earning sufficient enough income to basically pay your way here. Bike tourism in Mexico has been really exploding, and even with the whole COVID situation, we've been managing to kind of keep the lights on, but once travel is back to 100%, I could certainly foresee our business getting back to all-time highs again. But just, for example, in any one of those towns I mentioned, I think you could be, within 5 years, creating yourself an easy six-figure business. That's in US dollars, that you're working 5 to 6 months a year just doing bike rentals and tours, if you're passionate about it, for sure. And Chris says that tequila is the drink of gods. Yes, it is. I'm definitely enjoying this one, and it's unsweetened, but it's it's hitting the spot. All right, what time we got? It's 5:30. I thought I would break out my tacos, show you guys what I made here. Give me 1 minute. Come in, Bubba. NJ's back. He disappeared.
Came back for my beer.
So here's so easy to do at home in Mexico. So I went to the tortilla ladies that also do roasted chicken. I bought a roasted chicken, a half a kilo tortillas, a big thing of rice, rajas, creamy rajas. I bought potatoes with roast beef, or roasted beef, and then I think I got one more thing. Anyways, there's one more thing, and it was 375 pesos, so just under $20. We'll feed 8 of us with this. So I made myself 4 little taquitos, and if you don't mind, I'm gonna try them. And I put a little bit of frijole, which is bean. I put the roasted chicken. And then I added a little bit of the sauce from the beef with the potatoes. And then I put a little bit of coleslaw on top. Wow, that's really good. And being barbecue chicken, not roasted, sorry, it's barbecue chicken. It has a real smoky flavor. But, you guys know this, but it's definitely one of the things we love about living here is the ease and simplicity of just doing this. And that took me, well, I did drive there, picked it up, but it took me 5 minutes to whip together my own Taco Tuesday. Baba, tacos? All right. So someone says, new subscriber wondering about your trip to Bucerias, giveaways, details. So quite easy. Go to our website, movingtomexi.co, And there's a thing there that says win a trip. Also on the YouTube channel, I'll bring up the screen and I'll just show you. YouTube. I'll just share my screen with you guys here in a second. All right. Okay, share screen. Window. All right. So here, click on that. Win a week. And oh, that's not taken in. If you click on this win a week, sorry, right there, not the red one, it's going to take you to our Moving to Mexi.co webpage and fill this out. So this creates our master draw list, and we draw from these names every Saturday, and we give away a week stay here in Bucerias. So I know we've given away well over 100 so far. Not everyone's claimed them. That's kind of the funny thing. And I've actually had people enter the draw and then they unsubscribe. So as soon as you unsubscribe from our list, you're basically eliminating yourself from the draw. So if you do subscribe, don't unsubscribe. We don't pepper you with a lot of emails. We send out a maximum of 1 email a week, just reminding you to check the Saturday video to see if you have won. All right. This is a good question. How about replacing the agave syrup with maple syrup? And I have done that on numerous occasions, and I actually quite like that little trick. So don't be afraid to try those things, but maple syrup in a margarita is very, very good. All right. Let's see here. Someone has booked. I've booked for January's, fingers crossed. Where's a good spot for my husband's 50th? If you're looking for a restaurant, if you're here in Bucerias, I say go to Cooley's. That would be my recommendation. It's like one of the best restaurants in town and very, very special. Okay. I'm going to try to get to a few more questions here. Okay. What's the one snack food you wish someone would sell on the beach in Mexico? Man, like you literally can get anything from potato chips to shrimp to, you can pretty well find candies, ice cream. Like there's always a vendor selling everything on the beach. So I don't think there's actually one thing I can think of that I wish I could get on the beach that you can't. I guess the only thing is like a cold beer. Again, people can't sell that, but you just go to a restaurant and you can and sit there for the day and just order away. One more thing. Yes, the trip is just accommodations. We're a struggling YouTube channel. We have a lot of accommodations. We look for sponsors to sponsor the weeks in return for kind of the plug or the announcement. So we give away just the accommodations only, which is, it's a studio for cuatro estaciones. So that's, I've got a value of about $500 to $600 US for the week. So it's cash value. No, never seen anyone selling poutine. Someone just asked that question. Not on the beach, but there's restaurants here that sell it. I've definitely seen that on a couple of occasions, and a food truck, I believe, in the Puerto Vallarta area that does poutine. And who's sitting behind me? That's NJ, my son. He was sitting there, but he's since moved to the couch to get out of the screen. All right, everybody. Well, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks for joining me for a little bit of information on setting up a business in Mexico. If you have any specific questions about that, again, take your question that if I missed you, even if I didn't miss you, take your question and copy and paste that onto the YouTube comments, just so I can get back to all those questions and make sure that I've answered them. And we're going to be doing some more videos on setting up businesses in Mexico, on buying real estate in Mexico, and giving a little bit more information on that. But I kind of wanted to give you just the general, the big thing again is to start the process of getting your temporary residency. And I suggest go right for the 4 years. You got to start that process in your home country. And then once you're in Mexico, then you continue the process here. And as a part of that process, you get a permission to work and you get a tax number to basically open the business of your choice. It really is that simple. And there are some intricacies once you have the business, depending on the type of business you have, when you file your taxes and how you have to keep track of expenses. But again, we are going to cover that on a future video. Anyways, muchas gracias a todo. Espero que todo bien. I hope that everything is well, con todo, with all of you. And on that note, nos vemos. Hasta luego, and adios, everyone. Have a good Taco Tuesday.